I am so excited to bring you one of the most inspiring doctors of change stories possible is children and kids and growing into grown adults making change. I have some of the most inspiring young men that I've ever met in my life. These are award winners of up and comings, having a podcast, the Holistic Kids Show, with over 200 episodes. They've also turned their podcast into a book to get awards at some of the largest health conferences in the world. And these kids are making change. You've all heard the analogy that we often say our future belongs to children. But what if the truth is that children are already leading the change adults have been waiting for? And I have some young, fine men here that are actually leading change. And I have some big questions. You know, I believe you guys are some of the most inspiring change making kids that I've seen of all time. And one of my questions is, what has it done for you each as a family growing up as you introduce yourselves? And what does holistic living look like? How do other families, how do other kids perceive you as this is not the norm? Everyday change makers like you are rare gems. And I'm so excited for the world to learn from you today. So thank you for your time, your energy, and share a little bit about yourselves and those starting questions.
Oh, we're so honored to be here. It's really our
Yes.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for the introduction. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, tell me each one of you your name and what it's done in your life. Obviously, you glow, your skin's great, but tell me how it feels on a daily life to not just attempt this, you live this, and it shows once you follow these young gentlemen and see how they live, how they show up. It's truly inspiring. Want to know what it's done in your life.
So I'm Abdullah, I'm 17.
I'm Zayn. I am 14.
I'm Imad and I am 12.
And this is for us, this has been a journey for us. We started this when I think like 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, a long time ago, I was around 7 years old. Mad was around 2 years old. And so every single day, it just brought us closer and closer together because when we take care of our bodies, when we take care of our minds, our hearts, our just and everything in our life, we start working better, we start thinking better, we start interacting with each other better. We are actually able to function as humans better, able to function as a family better. And it's really as simple as that. People think that, health is so complicated that once you get into this and once you start changing, then you'll be somewhat alienated from the world.
Yeah, people think it's so hard, but all you gotta do is take step by step, and it's just easy.
Yeah. So, but we really just started our podcast, and that was just the beginning for this movement that we were really trying to push and learn towards this. So we started the podcast in the pandemic when everyone was worried about their health. All over the news, it was like everyone was scared, everyone was freaked out because COVID, it was like a pandemic. Everyone who didn't have very strong immune systems were going to go down very easily, and that scared many people. So during that, we started our podcast, The Holistic Kids Show.
And as you know, like Zan, I just want to touch up on something that Zan mentioned, that right now, I mean, 1 in 2 kids have at least one persistent health issue. And we see this, right? We see this in our schools. And like I went to high school, now I'm in college. But Zan's in high school, he's a freshman now, right? Imad's in.
Yeah, we get like it's funny because my brother's like the youngest one is not in school. The second one is in elementary. And the third one, me, is in middle school. Then we have Zayn from high school, Abdullah from college. So we get everything. We see this happening.
Mm-hmm.
And now CDC actually came out and it said that 1 in 3 teens have prediabetes, which used to be known as an old person's issue. Now, 1 in 10 U.S. children have ADHD or behavior problems. 3/4 of adolescents actually experience depression and anxiety. And now 1 in 3 teen girls have seriously thought of suicide. And so this is a national emergency in children and adolescent mental health. And we realized this and we said we need to do something about this.
That
And
is so
even
powerful.
Post-COVID, I saw it in I saw it so clearly because basically what happened is that I got a death threat from my best friend. So why would you give your best friend a death threat if your mind wasn't able like perfectly? It was just so scary during that time, and I really saw why this needs to be important for teens and just people all around the world.
Love what you said earlier, Abdullah, is mind, body, heart medicine. Just like you said with your friend right here, they're struggling and giving death threats because they're not doing well mentally or emotionally, spiritually, physically, internally. And that may begin with the choices, the foods, the environment that we're in. And you've cited all of the statistics. It's alarming. Change is needed. And you rose to the call and you took action. Are your friends concerned that weren't living this lifestyle? Are they still learn when introduced to you of like how different this is? Like you said, there's simple steps that can be taken. They just see somebody that's done so much already. And is it a big gap? Is that why it is? Or is it just behavior because they're used to drinking juice boxes and candy at every meal and Skittles at every meal? That's the norm in society. And here's somebody come eating dye free, eating real food, prepping their lunches. Is that where it begins? Like, it's obviously a difference, and they're seeing that.
Well,
Really, most people they like really not. They're really too scared to try because like they don't want to be different. They don't want to be special. They want to be like they don't want. They want to be like with the group. Like they don't like. They're not gonna change. They're gonna keep on eating like candy and all this stuff, all this bad junk food.
also, when they see us, a lot of them, they live in a society, they live in communities where it's not where kids don't make their own lunch. Kids eat this, this, this. We go to school and everybody is following the same mentality that we're just gonna eat, this candy, we're gonna have this juice box, we're gonna have pasta, like, or we're gonna have some packaged peanut butter jelly sandwich. And once they saw us, they were like, wait a second, you can like there's the option to have carrots and broccoli and in fruits and natural like candies. Like we brought some when they saw what we were doing, it really opened their mind to what we could actually be what they could actually be eating.
Also, because like in my school, we had something called a snack line, and and then everybody was like, most of them I see they have more snacks than their real lunch. Okay,
Mhm.
and then I see a whole line is the big like it's probably like 5 times bigger than the lunch line, which is a problem and very concerning. And I see a lot of people going for seconds.
Yeah, and I just think that it's kids all around the world are just stuck on a hamster wheel. They're addicted to all this processed food, ultra processed food. That's making it insanely hard for them to detach. And it doesn't help that everyone is doing it. So just creating this change, making other kids see that, you know what, we can live a happy, healthy life while eating all this, I think it really could bring change in the next generation.
Also,
I agree.
I feel like their mindset is just towards like one thing. Like, there's only like a couple of vegetables, and they're only bad. It's only broccoli sprouts, and carrots. And I'm like, no, there's more. Peppers. It's so delicious. You gotta try it.
Mhm.
Yeah, like my family's in between. I've always been inspired by you and your mom and how you guys navigate eating healthy almost everywhere. Even your mom at different conferences when I seen her packed and prepared. And obviously that passes down and it's a step family. So like for my family, we don't carry any of that stuff in the house. But I know they go to parties. I know we do Halloween and that urge is there. So my question to each of you is what does being a change maker mean to you, not just in the words that you guys are leading this movement, but in the way you live each day when nobody's watching? Because I'd imagine there's times where you could have that sugar or that food that other people are sneaking to. I've caught my kids sneaking it and hiding it because they know we don't have it in the house, but they bring it from outside sources, and they're kids being kids. What do you all do when nobody's watching to stay true to the cause that you're on?
Well, we know what the truth is, and the truth is that these ultra processed foods, these ultra processed candies, these ultra processed this mentality that has been created by the food industry is affecting our bodies, and it's going to affect our brains. It's going to affect our even our hearts and our souls in our bodies. And so we read, our mom taught us to read ingredients. So we look through the ingredients, we say, okay, what does this have? Because we know our mom taught us this red 40, a carcinogen that leads to cancer. No kid is gonna eat something that that causes cancer.
And if you don't know it, don't eat it. Like, why do we eat things we don't know?
And so it all starts by education.
That's so important, and they're not teaching that in the school, and that's why your show is so important. If they know it would do that, then they'd have choice. And I see your guys' menus and pictures too. It's not have healthy homemade desserts that are scrumptious. It's you don't live without. It's just you're educated on absolutely the things that are disrupting your body on a level most kids aren't getting educated on. That's why your show is so powerful.
And we have been eating this and for so long, and because of how tasty we've realized that real food is, we don't even want to go back. So there's not an urge for us to sneak in candy because we've been eating such good, and when you know what it's going to do to you, why would you want to eat it?
That's so good.
And for us, especially, I know I was in class once, and there was this one, and basically the teacher was like, the entire school district is planning to ban Skittles and M&Ms and the certain kinds of candies. And the entire class, like, they went crazy. They're like, no, no, no. And this is in high school. Like, these are 16.
Losing their mind over
Exactly.
sugar.
And I say to them, the kid, like the student next to me, my peer next to me, and I'm like, don't you know what these foods do to you, these candies do to you? And he's like, no, I just like how they taste. I say, okay, look into Skittles and see what those dyes individually do. Do you know what ingredient this is? Did you know that actually ultra processed foods, Skittles, and the M&Ms, the Hershey's, and the list goes on and on and on, is actually contributing to more chronic illnesses. People are having more rashes because of it. Acne. People are facing, diabetes, prediabetes. And the list keeps going on and on and on. It's
behavior, anxiety, overwhelm. They have no idea.
And I know kids at school, they complain, I have anxiety. I'm like, I'm stressed out. I can't manage my stress. Or, I'm dealing with mental health problems. And sometimes, yes, there's underlying factors besides food, but food is one of those biggest factors. And if you're putting junk into your body, how do you expect to work properly?
Yeah. You said something important there that I'm curious about, where you're having these conversations with your friends, and there's a world no different holiday. Halloween's coming up again here. It's a trend. And so many people follow holidays. It's Christmas. We're going to eat a certain way. How do you find the courage to speak truth like this to other kids, even your classmates? It may be easier online where you don't see them, but you're having these real conversations with people you love and care about. So how do you find the courage to speak truth even when it is unpopular?
So for us, I mean, not for us, but in general, it is the reality. We go to kids, like I know I asked my friends, like, when you have these foods, don't you feel it in your stomach? Like, you can't tell me when you have this that you don't 100% regret it. When you have tons of sugar, you don't feel differently after. Kids feel it. We feel it. Like, that's why we don't even have any. We even stopped because of having tons and tons of sugar because of that reason, because we could feel it once we had it. Then my had like tons of sinus issues because of that. Like Zayn had like rashes, eczema. We felt our like stomach. We had diarrhea, diarrhea, and we were congested, and we didn't want to live like that. But we weren't ever like our friends. We tell them that they're like, oh yeah, like it finally hits them that both of these are connected, because that's the reality. And once we start opening that reality to more people, the truth is gonna keep multiplying and keep spreading. We just have to start planting those seeds.
Yes. So a big question I have is, you're showing leadership can begin at any age, in my opinion. And what do you wish adults would remember about the way that kids see health, joy, and connection? You have a different perspective than they do. They kind of see, my kid's gonna angry, and that's just more stress they got to do. but how would you like adults to remember the way that you see?
Us kids are a lot smarter than you think.
Love that.
So a lot of adults, they keep maybe kids out from learning about this stuff because they're like, oh, you know what, maybe he'll learn in the future, but just teaches at a young age. If adults can start implementing this and teaching at a young age, then kids can develop this mindset and lifestyle that can create a more healthy kid. And when we have a healthy kid, they'll turn into a healthy adult.
Yeah, like if like our mom did it and then we copied it, she taught us and we learned. So like if parent is like, oh, do this, don't have any candy, but then they're having their candy themselves, that is like a terrible role model to the kids.
Yeah, it's not embodiment. So, I do believe it does, bleed through from the parents. Just like you said, your mom began educating you, you became educated, and you felt the difference. And it's easy to make those choices when you can understand it, embody it, and feel the difference. And that's what your mom did. Not everybody has that. And I think the parents are easy to just hand an iPad, hand the candy, hand the snack versus their leadership is critical and you want it, right? It's not a punishment. If you got it, you felt better, just like you said. It's like you benefit from it. You feel better, you live better, you perform better. And it does begin, in my opinion, in the homes and the parents doing the best they can. And, I think that turns my next question is so many of them are maybe starting late or realizing after COVID or just listening today and learning like we got to do something different for our family. I'd love from each of your perspective, if a family made one small change that started different dominoes or learning that could heal their body, their relationships, our planet, what would you each want it to be, or one small step they could start taking?
So I think every single family needs to hear this. Having one family meal every single day together without technology. Put the phones, iPads, whatever. Parents too. Parents and kids putting all their problems away, sitting at the table, and being together, being a family. Studies have come out from Harvard actually that say that eating even one family meal together each day reduces depression, reduces the risk of anxiety, reduces the risk of suicidal behavior, builds self-esteem, and leads to a more positive and like well life. And it's so simple.
Yeah.
And like what I think is have fun with food when you're trying out for first, because it's gonna be hard if you just think that, oh, I need to have vegetables, 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 vegetables. When you have fruits and vegetables, but they're fruits, you can make it more colorful and add fun with the food. Like you can have red food, orange food. Like you can go down the list, and every day you can try to have each of every single color.
Oh, good advice.
And I think that just starting with small steps, it's gonna create the habit a lot easier than just going from eating fully ultra processed foods one day to eating perfectly the next day, because then we're not going to develop that habit of, because then we're going to maybe want to go back to ultra processed foods. So when we start steps each day, it's going to be an easier transition for everyone that, okay, maybe we're just going to take out the gluten. Okay, let's just take away the dairy. And then the next day, just take away dyes. And then every single step that you take, you're getting better and you're developing a habit that's going to create a more successful future.
I love it. I think the first one that you said, Dula, what a powerful statement. Not only are you sitting down, not on the phones, your body can be in rest and digest. You can chew your food. You get to connect emotionally, hear each other. Most people sit in silence. There's so many practices of checking in with each other and sharing and giving habits. That's definitely my wife's favorite thing is our family dinner time. Definitely, I love coaching my kids' sports and playing that element. But those two things of being involved with them in their school activities and sports and at the dinner table, I think are the two of the most powerful like seeding grounds as children. And, I can't, add any more importance of also when we're looking at all the different health clinics that I support and work with, at the root cause is almost every clinic, if you're going to get better, there's a lot of solutions: regenerative medicine, food, lifestyle, vitamins, minerals that can make you feel better. But if you don't stop the poisoning and detox, our body accumulates glycophosphate, heavy metals, all these different environmental chemicals. If we don't stop the poisoning, just like you're saying, like one step at a time and get consistent with it, you have gluten once a week, you're just reintroducing the flame back in the gut. So such relatable advice that, it's important. If they're going to change, consistency has to be in the home and navigating through it. So thank you for that. All right. If you had, a health food challenge or a health movement, and you could design a health challenge for, call it 5 days or call it a month, and a family could consider all these ideas, and you're creating this amazing health challenges for families. If you all could rifle off a handful of things that you would include in this challenge for families, not just children, that would make big change, and it could spark an idea for somebody, what would be included in your health challenge?
So the first thing, 100%, I know it sounds simple, but it's so beneficial. Gratitude. Just waking up and saying 3 things you're grateful for in the morning, even ending the day with 3 things you're grateful for. There's so much benefit in it, and it changes your subconscious from negative to positive. And once you have that as mindset, who can stop you?
Awesome. What else goes into the challenge? That's a great daily practice.
We should start more with mindfulness. When we just think about and we be in the present for everything we do, we can place ourselves and make ourselves more centered. This does not include scrolling on TikTok, because we're not thinking about it and thinking about the food you're eating while you're chewing it. Just thinking about what's around you, just making yourself more present will definitely should be part of the challenge.
And also, whenever you eat a food, just search up what it does, what's the benefits, or if you're eating something processed, ultra processed, search up if there's anything negative to it. Like if we used like rainbow foods. Whenever we used to have a rainbow, like we used to say, okay, what does black do? Or what does green do? Like, right, Mad? Remember we used to do that?
Yeah, like, what does this color do? Like red helps with like the hearts. Orange was the alpha and beta carotene. And like you can just go down the list and see what am I getting out of all these different colors.
It's right back to the education side of it, right? You don't know what each one's doing unless you learn about it. So those sound like a great start to the challenges. And I love what you're saying, Zayn, is the presence. If you practice that in a health challenge for 30 days alone, of being with yourself, your body would rest, and you're not living in the future, or not living in the past, and can really bring your joy and presence and connection to your family, your friends, and be fully there. Most people don't know how to do that with the iPads these days, or stress about the future. It's just be a kid, be an adult, be present, and your life could change.
Also, you probably experience this as well. When people think about this lifestyle, they think, oh, I have to eat, like Imad said, like broccoli and Brussels sprouts for 30 days and just, live a really boring and sad life. But honestly, like, switch things out. Instead of Cheetos, there's like this amazing brand called Lesser Evil. Like, have you heard of CHA chips?
Mm-mm.
Basically, they're these instead
Yeah.
of Lay's and Pringles and all those kind of chips,
They taste great.
they taste amazing. And if you look at the ingredients, 7 ingredients.
Yeah,
All
cauliflower.
natural.
It's got lime and salt. We like those ones. There's even a barbecue flavor of those. So yes, far this versus that for sure.
And plus, you can pronounce each one of those ingredients.
I think also with Abdullah, like substituting foods, also substituting your oils because it's very important. Like instead of canola, soy, vegetable oil, we like to use avocado and olive oil. It's like really good, and you really see the difference.
Yeah, and people don't know out there, because people are becoming more aware, and I think COVID helped people be more aware of their health for sure. Seeing the positive side of that is there's restaurants. I work for a couple of restaurants that have bioregenerative farm foods in Center Wellness in Miami, Town Hall, Rebel Foods, non-GMO, non-seed oil based foods that kids and families are going and eating out. So you not always can be as prepared for some families. However, there are places when you're choosing and looking where you can go, you're flying to a different city and being able to live within, these new consistent changes that a family can make. So one of the most powerful things is I had to go through my own healing journey in crisis, and it was a holistic journey. Mind, body, spirit. I had all the top functional regeneratives, and I didn't know that trauma played a big role, or anxiety, or these foods, or all these things contributed to it. I only knew a certain way. And at my rock bottom, I was really struggling mentally. But it was my kids. I had, this was like 7 years ago. My kids were there. They pulled me through the hardest times. Parents aren't perfect, the shame, the guilt, the things that we're taught. But I knew my family needed me. So if there's any message that you as change making kids could do to speak to adults or the world right now, because I think they're the ones raising the children that have the power to make them change. What would you want them to know about truth and the power that they hold to make change? Just like change making kids like you are making a difference, these parents have the ability to make change. What would you tell them about their power?
Just stop poisoning us kids. Just stop feeding this. Just don't even have it in the house. Don't put all these toxic foods in the house, because when we put more toxic foods and chemicals inside the house, that can severely affect us. And when we have it in like the pantry, what's stopping a kid from just being like, oh, I really want that, and grabbing it? So when we swap out our pantry and fridge with just real foods and good foods that'll help us, now you're gonna have your kids develop a mindset being like, oh, instead of snacking on one of the chips, now you can snack on some nuts, like some cashews.
Also, remember to always have fun with food. Because we live not when I know a lot of parents when they start, they make it more like rules, 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 rules. But what our mom did was, like we said before, she made it fun for us. Also, she treated us like adults. Because right now we live in a society where we're treated like kids and we're said, oh no, when they become adults, when they're later on, I'll teach them. But no, start now, not later. Because change doesn't wait. Change needs to happen immediately.
And also, the nice that our mom did to us, is helped us with it. Is when you come back from school, okay, we're like really tired and we just want to eat anything, right? And then she just put on all these good fruit, like fruit, vegetables, like juicy, super good that you only want to have after a long day of school. And once we had it, it was just refreshing. Like kids will eat anything, okay, after school, even if it's like bad.
Love that. Is I see you as such powerful lead all of humanity in the future. And I'm so excited to watch where you go. So I'm curious for each one of you. You have bright futures ahead. You have this amazing business you created as a family business. I'm curious, as entrepreneurs and getting kids to start to think this way, you are creating your own future in reality. Tell me maybe about your family planning meetings, how you guys discuss goals, how you will all grow together. You're now in college. Are you all like, I'm going to be an accountant, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be the doctor? How are you kind of planning your vision together? Or have you even done that at all? Or are you just taking it moment by moment? I'm curious to the inside, the behind the business curtains of the family.
So when it comes to personal things, sometimes it's in the car ride. Just like on the car ride, our mom will be like, or our dad will be like, oh, so like, what do you want to do with your life? Or like, what's your purpose? Like, what are you trying to achieve? And they'll help us out, maybe join this, maybe do that. But on a business level, at night, sometimes we just have like a business meeting. She's like, everybody come here, let's get this done. Let's make sure we know what we're doing. Like, we had kind of like a meeting right before this as well. And that really just helped us out, become organized, get together, and do this as a family.
Funny story, okay? Well, not funny, actually. Not that funny. But one time, this time we discovered that we had the book. It was just that mom got the one idea, and I just came back from a long day of, I think we were playing soccer, and Abdullah was volunteering, right? And then once he came back in the car, my mom was like, "Oh, let's make a book. Who wants to make a book?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll make a book. We can make a book." And then we're like, "Okay, we'll just make a book then." So we made a book. Kind of.
Because she knows that we can't escape, so that's the perfect time.
Got you.
And we're very...
So we love our mom so much. She's like amazing.
Epic.
We're very
sure.
organized, but not organized at the same time, and that's kind of how it works. Because basically, there are certain times where we're just like, whenever we're all together, our mom just goes through the schedule, and we're just gonna be like, being like, "Oh, we have a podcast this time," so this can just like keep us all like to know what's coming next. And then we also share like a Google Calendar that can connect us all, but we're not very organized all the time. But there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, one time Dan likes to make these like before we got the Google Calendar, he made like these things like one with the where we get to make these chapters, and then he had it and then I had it, and then I kind of was not organized and it was gone.
Well, I think it's beautiful. Of course, you still are all young. You got business, you got vision, you got change making mindset, and yes, enjoy being you in this moment now and following your heart. I just had this conversation with my daughter. We have a family business, a consulting agency, a nonprofit, a product business, and my daughter's starting to intern and write content for me because she loves books. And I just said something yesterday. She's like, "Dad, I don't want to be an entrepreneur." And I said, "I just want you to follow your heart." Meaning, I'm blessed in this family business that if your heart enjoys it, you're going to dive all in. You're going to make a difference. I've already seen you show up. And to be able to say that, is what a family business means to me, is just simply giving them the direction, support and love, and the food and the healthy environment to which they can follow their heart and thrive. And that to me is the most important. So one of my last questions is, can you cast a future vision that you see for our society, for our world, beginning to look differently about health and adults and children working together to solve some of these world problems of mental health, obesity, and find solutions that give quality foods and access and sustains health for all? You ever have any fun conversations of what change looks like as adults and children come together to change the world?
We don't want medicine and health just to be taught in a hospital. We want it to be in our schools. We want it to be in our communities. We want it to be in our families. We want it to be an everyday thing. That's our mission right now, bringing it to every single teen. That's why we're coming out with the Teen Health Revolution book. Something that every single teen can hold in their hands, and anytime they have a question or they want to educate themselves or they want to become better, they can just open it up and it's super simple. Right now, you have to go through sometimes like really complicated books to get information, but we want this to be taught in schools. Like you mentioned, they don't teach this kind of stuff in schools.
I think that's so powerful. Healthcare professionals have made it complex, but when you start at a young age, it's the simple habits, like you said, mindfulness, gratitude, sitting together, real foods, getting your heart, centering your emotions. Like those basics would take anybody to major places.
Well, I imagine.
Were you going to say something?
Yeah. What I imagine for the world is just for people all around the world to know what they're putting into their body. Right now in today's society, everyone is just eating whatever looks the most appetizing without knowing what's going inside their body. And especially because many brands are trying to
hide it.
hide it by saying, oh, we're good for you, oh, this is good for your heart, even though it's really destructive to every single other part in your body. I just think if we can have maybe more awareness of what people are putting inside their bodies, then we can start creating a world that's more knowing of what they eat.
Exactly, because right now our brains and bodies are not ours. We shouldn't, teens, kids, even adults shouldn't be living like deaf, dumb, and blind, like just following herd mentality, just doing whatever people tell them to do. We need to wake up and start thinking for ourselves. And all of that starts now.
These products, foods, it's all hijacking the system. So their power back, and it starts with what you're saying right there, learning. So tell us about your books, your launch, your podcast. Please share. Kids, family, parents, these books need to be in the world's home. The podcast needs to be consumed. This is not impossible. Simple steps, fun, simple solutions that any family can incorporate and feel great. Plain and simple. That the goal is our kids deserve to feel good, healthy, productive, creative, and emotionally resilient to whatever life throws at them, because we all know challenges are going to happen, and if your body's present, you're going to navigate it. So how do they find you? How do they learn? How do they study everything that you're putting out there?
So first, buy this book, okay? It's amazing.
Pre-order it.
Pre-order it. It's coming out November 13, 2025. And it's fun because of my jokes, obviously. It's also because of we had an acronym, the revolution, and each letter has like a chapter.
Yeah. So, but we mainly made this podcast and book just so we can help spread this message in a more simple way. So the Teen Health Revolution really does put that really easily by separating the chapters into different sections, like revolutionize the gut for our eating real food, vanquishing toxins, just constantly every single letter of revolution. We just talk about a different subject that should be implemented in teens, making everything more organized, but part of the same word, the revolution.
Exactly, from food to sleep to gratitude to even mindfulness and uniting with others in nature. And also, I know teens especially like this. We go over 20 chronic conditions that teens are dealing with today. So acne, like digestive issues, mood disorders, and an integrative approach to add to their conventional care and to become a better person. And that's, we can also credit our mom for that because she's the medical professional.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and we added with the book, there are 4 free PDFs that you can just get, and basically these are just about the shopping list that can help teens really just like get out there and really conquer their health, because once you learn all the information, what are you going to do about it? That's why we really made this book, because there's just so much relatable stuff that we talk about, especially because we don't just talk about the health aspect. We also talk about just society and navigating society.
Also, we have recipes in the book because if anyone wants to, cook and make stuff, we have recipes. Also, oh, there goes the lights. But we also have, I'll give credit where credit is due. Zayn made some amazing drawings. Imad has some pretty decent, good jokes.
You're coming decent. I mean, I'm coming good. Okay.
He has some jokes in there too, just to break up, the more the information from each other. We have practical tips in there. Really, it's the whole package.
It sounds like it, and I'm excited to be on the list. I'm excited to get it. And yes, tell us where to go to the podcast in the name of the show, so those listening and maybe hearing this driving, where they go, and to check out the notes as well. So you go to the podcast, and again, you've went to an event now, you've won awards. Please, if you're a doctor, you're listening to this, you follow and you have a podcast, we want to get this message out there as to as many people as possible. This is children right now. They are our now, they are our future. Everything's about family in my book. And I know that means a lot to a lot of people in the world. So I can't think of a better asset, a better gift for the holidays. So please follow these people. Please share their resources. This is a message the world needs in a simple, well-crafted way that is fun and engaging for the entire family. So thank you all for the time and I have you on here. Thanks for seeing your growth, can inspire and impress. I have nothing but love, desire, and prayers for your continued impact, success. May God continue to spread your word everywhere around the world.
We're honestly, this was our pleasure. We are so honored and we can't thank you enough for everything that you've done and everything you're continuing to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all. All right, tune into the True Health community to learn from other leaders, visionaries, change makers like our holistic kids here today. Amazing. And if you want to apply for the show, get on there. This says you're making a true difference in the world, a true change maker. You have a message, you have a solution that can impact the world. That's why we have guests just like this, true change makers out there, not talking about change, living it, embodying it, living in truth. And that's why we bring on guests just like this. So thank you for walking the walk, talking the talk, and providing solutions to change the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.